Hello and welcome back to Badger Lodge Garage. In this video we've got stuff. This is what we're doing today, and that is the brake light switch that goes in the... We showed it in the last video. It sits in the top of the brake hoses and uses the brake pressure to put the lights on. Now I've seen a lot of people said that these aren't so good as they used to be and do die fairly quickly, and I had heard that before, but because I'm lazy I'm just going to swap it anyway and see what happens. Worst case scenario, if it dies in 3 months, I'll do something different, wire in a relay or something, I don't know, but there are ways and means. But the hardest thing first is going to be getting the old one out. I think that's been in there since 1966, and thus we'll probably fight a little bit. And what we don't want to do is twist the whole block, because we'll show you in a minute, it sits down in the top, and when you try and loosen it off, it's going to try and twist the T-piece that it sits in. And if we break those wire, those, you know, juice pipes off, then you start chasing brake, and before you know it, you replaced every brake line in the car. So we're trying to avoid doing that. So let's go and have a look. So I've stuck a torch down there, we can see it a little bit better. There it is, right down here. So I'll take these wires off, and hopefully I might be able to get a pair of grips on the bottom and a socket on the main housing itself, and we might be able to just undo it with a long extension. Well, why are you not focusing? There we go. There is a slight bit of radiator in the way, and I'll take that hose off, and then hopefully we'll be able to get in there. And I'll see if I can find a place to put the camera that you'll actually be able to, you know, see. Not sure it'll be that successful, but we'll give it a go. I've got the camera in a place where you can just about barely see what I'm doing. That's really well attached anyway, so we'll get that out of the way. That's off. I'll just be able to put a big old spanner on it and see what starts bending, I suppose. Here we go. Why use the right tool when you can use the closest tool? Oh yeah, she's going to bend straight away. Right, mole grips. I'm going to get these small ones in and wedged against anything. Yeah, there we go. 1, 2 stuck. Right. So what I've done there, I've just put a pair of mole grips on that front of the T, and then use the handle of a screwdriver behind it just to wedge it, so it just stops that T-piece from trying to twist and bend the pipes too much. And it has just cracked free. So now there was a suggestion about lifting the back of the car up to keep the fluid level up, because the master cylinder on this is in the floor. I'm just going to unscrew it and see what happens. If I have to bleed the brakes, it's not the end of the world, to be honest, because I could probably do with changing the fluid anyway. So I'm just going to take it out, might let a bit of air in, and we'll put the new one in. It's a bit less messy that way anyway. Oops, they're going to be more of that. what I will do is get the new one ready so we can do a quick swap. If you can see any of this, that is. And that did have a smear of hydraulic thread sealant around it. That's actual Loctite 577, is it? I don't know, it's the one that does everything, chemicals, petrol. It's good stuff basically. It's just a thread sealant, not a Loctite, so if we have to take it off again it's not going to be a complete pain. Interesting, when I took that off as well, there was a little bit of bubbles came out, so we might have actually let a bit of air out in a strange way. And there you go. I'll plug the wires back in a sec if you caught any of that at all. But having a look at this switch, it's why is this camera not playing ball today? Ow! And that was my head on the bonnet. So as you can see, that sort of melted, which would be why it's kind of stopped working, I'd imagine. Something funky going on a bit there. But right, the new one's in. I'll put the wires on, see if we've got any brake pedal left still. And she's in. Now that is interesting. Huh. It's got a firmer brake pedal than when we started. Now I did say that I saw some bubbles coming out of it, but I think we might have accidentally bled the brakes. Or there was an air bubble in it. Funny, if there was an air bubble underneath that switch, might not have actually been operating the brakes anyway. Lights, that is. If you're just compressing air, it might have not been enough to trip the switch. How curious. I think that warrants a test drive. Before all that though, we'll check the juice level. See what we've got going on. Ooh, I think we need some paint under here, a bit of a sand down. This is the brake master cylinder. I apologise, that was a metric spanner. I upset myself just then, but that's a long way to the toolbox. Oh yeah, that's not too bad. It's we could top her up, but it's not too low. You can see that there. It's down a little bit, but not by much. So we're not hemorrhaging fluid anyway, which is nice. See if I can one hand and camera pour some brake fluid here. Oh, missed. That's about it. Might just go up the threads a bit. There we go. Now I'll expand and spray all out the top. Presume the breather works. Don't know. If it doesn't, it'll expand and put the brakes on. But hey. Alright, now let's drive it. Right, so here we go. I can tell you now that it's fine. I would say, coming up to a traffic light now, we'll just, yeah. I'm going to say it's actually a slight improvement. They were never bad before. It usually stopped rather well for one of these, because I like to drive progressively, I think's the word. So that means you also need to stop fairly well as well, and this has always been pretty good at stopping. But it does seem to have firmed up the pedal a little bit more. It's just, you know, now it's rock solid when you press it. So I reckon we had a bit of air just sitting. The switch is like a higher point in the system. So it's probably been there for a long time somewhere, an air bubble, and it's eventually worked its way to that point. And it might have been even the reason that the switch stopped working. It was just compressing an air bubble just in front, up the top of the switch there, which is interesting. And I didn't expect that. I expected to be letting air in. But there you go. I love this car. So we've just come to my local town for a little drive about, trip to the seaside. So there you have it, one of the few fixes done. We have brake lights again. Next, I think I'll probably want to do the clutch linkage, because that's rattling like you wouldn't believe. Whoops. But who knows what will be next. But thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy, please like and subscribe. Because you've got to say that now, because we seem to be going alright. So, you know, might as well hop on a good thing. So thank you if you have liked and subscribed. And I'll see you in a future video. Cheers. Who'd have thought I would improve the brakes by changing the brake lights, but they obviously needed bleeding anyway. I'll probably do that. There must be air in the system somewhere still. Ah well, all part of the fun.